It's the show that's having its IP infringed upon.
Oh, yeah. Brew watches sports TV, and 3 times a week is like, you won't guess who stole my take. And I always have your back, Brew. He's a thought leader.
Never. He's always dragging a brother down.
Publicly, I'll always have your back. Privately, I'll be like, I don't think you were the first person.
It's a good team. What's going on here? We're starting with the Cowboys' slow start. Now, recently we've heard Jerry Jones say the Cowboys were going all in, and that he was the best GM in the league, and that the team couldn't afford Derrick Henry even though they could have. And yesterday he said, you know what, this slow start, on me.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
Who's responsible for the slow start?
Can I say something real quick before I answer? He wants the blame.
Yeah.
Because he wants the credit if they ever win a Super Bowl.
May have been disappointed in the 70%.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry wants the Cowboys to be inextricably linked to him for good or for bad, because for him it's always good. So I totally agree. I think you and I, we didn't talk about it, Wilds, had the same read. He would have loved that to be 98%. They blame Jerry Jones because it means if they do ever get back to the top of the mountain, people will inextricably tie it to him. But it's not who I blame. I honestly put it on a guy who gets criticized on this show a ton, and I almost always am the one person trying to defend him. I put this on Micah Parsons and Mike Zimmer.
Wow.
This has to be the strength of the team. And aside from week 1, when they played a team that the more we see that offense led by Deshaun Watson stumble about, we look at as maybe the most dysfunctional offense in all of football. Aside from that week, they've had their lunch money taken week in, week out. Since week 1 against the Browns, they are allowing 13 yards per pass. Everyone's talking about the run defense. 13 yards per attempt. A 135 rating to go along with 230 yards per game rushing on 5.5 yards per attempt. They've allowed in 2 games 10 touchdowns. And here are their defensive ranks for the season, which obviously incorporates a really good week 1. The sack number 6 of those 7 came against Deshaun. And to really hammer the point home, here's what Dallas has done. Well, it's a blind reveal. Dallas is on one side. I'll tell you that much. The last 2 weeks, if we can go to that, please, because it's stunning. So this is Dallas's production. The last 2 weeks, 1 pick, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 0 forced fumbles. Please reveal it for comparison's sake.
That's an individual, right?
Yeah, Dennis Gardeck, a 30-year-old kind of journeyman. He's been on the Cardinals his whole career, undrafted free agent. Shout out to him. He's having a heck of a season.
First time.
That's the whole team. He has more splash plays in 2 weeks than the Cowboys' entire team. And so Micah's the best player. He's supposed to be in the discussion for best player in the entire league on his side of the ball. And that, to me, has been the Cowboys' biggest leak this season, is their defense. So I'm going to put it on him and his breakfast buddy, or no pun intended, good morning show here, but breakfast mate Mike Zimmer, because remember they said they're having... No, him and the new defensive coordinator.
Well, that's fair, because I don't want to exonerate the players at all, right? And they are the ones that strap on the helmets and have to go out there and get it done, regardless of who's the owner or the coach. So I'm with you. None of them have done it. I blame Micah. I'm not exonerating Dak and CeeDee Lamb. You just got your big money. CeeDee doesn't look like a top 20 receiver right now. And Dak, I don't think Dak's playing well. Like, Dak puts up numbers. I think he's leading the league in yards right now, which is no surprise. We've seen him do that in the past. But a lot of times those are comebacks when you're down big. And when they're down 28-6 or whatever it might be, I don't just blame the defense. I say, well, yeah, your defense giving up points, but you're not scoring either. So maybe you could try to hang with that team that's scoring a lot of points. So I blame Dak and Zimmer, of course, right? And I think Zimmer is a good defensive coordinator. But people were talking about him like he was Buddy Ryan after game 1, and I'm like, Dan Quinn was also a good defensive coordinator. So they're different, but don't sleep on Dan Quinn. But I do put this on Jerry, because Nick, you didn't agree, but we knew they didn't have any running backs in that room. All right, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn. And there were a plethora of ones available this summer.
True.
And all you had to do, if you're going to give Dak $60 million, you might as well do it in April. You probably could have got him for less. You almost definitely could have got CD for less had you paid him in the spring.
And then you have the money.
And then you have the money to go out and get a Derrick Henry, a Saquon Barkley, who I'd rather have than Henry, Aaron Jones, Josh. There were a number of guys
Mixon,
available.
Josh Jacobs, and J.K. Dobbins went for the league minimum.
So that's on them. And then the run defense, which you said it yesterday, it was a problem. I know overall they were like middle of the pack, but that was a lot of tomato cans. Look at these games. The playoffs against Green Bay rushes for 143. San Francisco, when they trampled them, 42-10, rushed for 170. Arizona, when they upset them with Josh Dobbs at quarterback, rushed for 222. And Buffalo, when they beat them late in the season, rushed for 266. So you knew this was a problem, and they go out and do nothing. Like, they did nothing in free agency. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl and went out and signed another receiver, Hollywood Brown. The other teams that played well and went deep, the Ravens, go to the AFC Championship game, have the best running game in the league, and go out and sign Derrick Henry. Like, the Cowboys, Jerry's philosophy of, I'm not really messing around with free agency. We developed through the draft and what we have is not working. And had they gone out again, better teams than them added through free agency. They did. Eric Kendricks, he's 32, was a Pro Bowl 5 years ago.
And by the way, Kendricks agreed with another team, remember? And then, and then was like, actually, I want to play with Zimmer, and so kind of changed at the last minute. They were fortunate to even get him. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Other than Zeke, I mean, come on.
I liked Zeke for the Patriots last year.
Yeah.
Question for you. Anybody can answer it. Whose fault is it that my son, who's 10, can't dunk?
Yours. Well, yours and your wife, it's a pair.
But well, he's 10. Very few 10-year-olds can.
Oh, okay.
It's nobody's fault.
But it's your guy's fault that he'll never be able to.
No, he'll be able to dunk.
Oh, okay.
Let me stall.
Oh, okay.
The idea, so I'm putting a little bit of on the media. They're like, are we sure this is not a slow start? That there's these expectations that the Cowboys are supposed to be this team? But you know what? They're not. 2/3 of their games haven't been close. Like, there's another
So you're
team.
blaming the media for higher expectations?
Yes.
They did. I mean, look, Nick had a little higher than me.
The premise of this question, like slow start, like maybe it's not so. Did the Panthers start
They weren't
slow?
supposed to get demolished by the Saints.
Wilds.
But they did.
And they won 12 games the last 3 years.
Wilds.
I don't care.
Okay.
Well,
then,
that's how we judge them.
I don't think that's that. Every year there's a huge turnaround. The whole snow globe of the NFL shakes more than anywhere else.
Right.
It's not the NBA. It's not Major League Baseball.
Okay.
There's more turnover and weird stuff happening in the NFL than anywhere. And we've said, you know what? And we're still doing it. To this very question assumes that the Cowboys have to be good.
No, hold on. But yes, there's more turnover, and despite that turnover,
Yeah.
they're the only team in the league that's won 12 games 3 straight years.
I don't care.
And so,
the same players.
You said anybody can answer. Let me
I said that about the kid dunk.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I mean, do you right now? Are you just as disappointed, or should fans be just as disappointed in the Titans as the Bengals? No. Because even though they're both 0-3,
yes.
You think
No. That's fair.
Right. So and those expectations were based on previous year's season. Do you have a franchise quarterback? Mm-hmm. Do you have star players? That is, this coming year, if the Nuggets and the Pistons win the same amount of games and miss the playoffs,
it would be strange.
You would be more disappointed in one. So I don't look. This is not the Quincy Carter Cowboys that were talked about having accomplished nothing. This is a team that, if the media right before the playoffs this year, out in lockstep, is like, man, this is the year they make the Super Bowl, then I think the pushback is fair. I don't think it was irrational for them to be projected to be a playoff team.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think at the projection.
Everybody's thinking they were going to be 2-0 and then 2-1.
And 2-1, yes.
Yes.
But right now, we've watched 3 Cowboys games. Mm-hmm. 2 of them have been absolute disasters. And when you look at the teams that have had, everybody's had 3 games, where 2 games have been absolute disasters, it's a very small
So you're
grouping.
saying moving forward,
this
we
team has
shouldn't
proven
look at them
who they
as-
are right now.
So I think
The
teams
Bengals
can
at
change over the course of
0-3
the year.
are more impressive than the Cowboys at 1-2.
So I don't agree with you.
So just let me make the argument. Did the Bengals play well against the
Chiefs? Yes.
Yes. And they didn't punt against the Commanders. There was 2 games that were in the balance. They were not
but
very
also
good against the Patriots.
Yeah, they
the
also
Patriots
have, in my opinion, a loss to the
Well, the
Patriots
Saints-
losing to the Patriots worse than being blown out by the Saints, in my opinion.
Maybe. I don't know how you could. I don't know how you can make that
because
argument.
I think the Patriots are going to win 2 more times all year, and that's why I. That's
But
why
the
I think.
Saints
I mean, I'm
game
not
was
judging
an absolute
I also,
That was a historically
if
bad
I may
first
for
half.
a moment, just real quick, I think you are a little too. And I think you were a little unfair to Dak on the numbers, as if the near comeback against Baltimore was perma garbage time. They never had a chance. Brew, I think, agrees with me. There was a 3rd and 6 with 2.5 minutes left that if Lamar doesn't make that pass, the Ravens were going to lose. And so that to me was not nothing. That wasn't a fake comeback. They didn't get it done, but in my eyes, the Cowboys, if we really want to split it, have played 12 quarters of football this year. The first 4 were good.
Yeah.
The next 7 were god-awful, to your point.
Sure.
And the last one I thought was
See, I
good as well.
put more of that. And look, the Cowboys did have to keep playing hard, but I put more of that on the
Baltimore.
Ravens. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
It's just a fluky, I don't know, onside kicks. I know.
Yeah, it was.
Bounce.
The,
Yeah, but
it
I
was
mean,
the
they
Ravens.
Bounce off a
scored.
guy's chest.
Oh, great job by him there, I thought. And he's right. I failed myself. I failed the team. He's been a little too hard on himself. But the sentiment is correct. And the teams across sports that are built like the Cowboys, similar, I'll use an example Brew I think will like because he talks about the brands a lot, the Lakers, they will live or die on how their superstars play. And they are not the deepest team. They aren't the most well-rounded team. And all summer when CD wasn't paid, what did we all agree on? He's probably the single most important weapon in the league. Because everybody else has multiple ones. The Cowboys are more reliant on him than anyone else is on their guy. Justin Jefferson is maybe a different category now at this point because the team matters. We thought they were going to start a rookie quarterback, might not. And yeah, he's got to be better. And they got to give him the ball more. Last year when the Cowboys led the NFL in points, it was in large part because CeeDee Lamb, we can show you the numbers, led receivers and everything. Well, he had the most targets, the most receptions, the most 20-yard receptions, the 2nd most yards, 3rd most touchdowns. This year, he's almost top 10 in yards. He has 3 big plays. He has, I think, he has 1 touchdown. He has 24 targets, which is 8 a game. They were talking about getting him 12 to 15 per game, and he has 13 catches. Now, he has a couple big plays, and he has a devastating fumble that kind of set the table in that Ravens game. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it doesn't work for them, just like with Micah on defense. Micah's got to be awesome. CeeDee's got to be awesome. Dak's got to be a top 10 minimum quarterback for this thing to go. That's where their money is. That's where their talent is.
Yeah, like you said, good job by him. Hopefully Micah was watching because he was worse than Micah. You know, not that Micah was great, but the drop ball late in the 4th quarter, the fumble early, like you said, set the tone. He had a false start also on a late drive in the 4th quarter that kind of stalled them. And his body language was horrific throughout the game. And the thing is this, Nick, I think he's going to have a very good season because he's a great receiver. But I don't think he's going to do what he did last year. Because if I'm a defense, I'm saying I'm not even worried about the run game. I'm not worried about the other receivers. This guy will not beat us.
That's right.
All right? So, and I know Baltimore didn't double him, but some teams will make sure they got eyes all over him.
But how different is that than what
him.
defenses were doing last year?
I think, and
I mean, the
you might
receiving core
disagree,
is the same.
but this is what I said. I think it's being proven to be right. Tony Pollard was, not that he's some Hall of Fame running back, But he was a good running back. He was a Pro Bowl running back, and you had to at least account for him. I had to worry about him catching it and running the football. I don't have that worry anymore. And so that is going to be a factor for the Cowboys.
I think
he has no 100-yard games, Nick, CD, in a season so far where Dak is leading the league in yardage, and 2 of the last games have been blowouts where the other team is in somewhat a softer defense, almost prevent, because they got a big lead, and CD still can't get 100 yards.
That's fair. I mean, he might also be rusty from not a full game.
I think that's part of it,
he
too,
might
but
just be able to ramp up. Thursday night football, first short week road game for the Cowboys ever. Dallas almost 6-point favorites. Last time Dallas was in New York, it was a homemade pasta dinner, tomato cans. 40-0 romp. Man, Brew, what can the Cowboys do to impress you?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Against the Giants?
Yes.
Wilds, what are the Giants?
Well, it seems that you have a small tomato can on the desk.
What do the Cowboys do to tomato cans?
I'm not 100% sure we've ever phrased the
They squash them, all right?
can itself?
Don't stutter. They squash tomato cans. I am looking for a supreme beatdown tomorrow night from the Cowboys. They are going to pummel the New York Giants.
All right.
All right? I'm looking for Micah to have multiple
Will that
sacks.
impress you?
I'm looking for Trayvon to have a pick.
Oh.
Heck, maybe a pick 6. I'm even looking for Rico Dowdle and Zeke Elliott to combine for at least 70 yards on the ground.
Well, that's
Will that impress
I'm looking
you?
for Dak to throw it all over the yard,
Okay,
baby.
okay.
Because the Cowboys
All
lick
over the
their
yard.
chops when they see tomato cans. They mark the calendar, Nick. They count down the days. I guarantee you the Giants and the Panthers have been circled on the calendar since mid-May when the schedule came out.
Okay.
So when they beat them
Yeah.
37-12,
Yep. 37-12.
last year they beat them 40-0.
Yeah.
All right, they
So
beat the
they-
Jets 30-10. They beat your Patriots
Then they beat
38-3.
the Giants again at
right.
home.
And I will not be impressed
So the
in
answer's
the
nothing.
least. Nothing. Because
why
this
not?
is what they do.
Wrote all this stuff down.
This will
About pick
mean
six.
nothing.
So this is where we're a little unfair.
How?
Because
we know what they are.
Let me explain how. If the Giants were to win the game, in the brief time we talk about the Giants on Friday, Kevin Wildes will get on TV and be like, Giants sneaky good.
Sneaky good.
If they had a kicker, and this will be Wildes.
Yeah.
If they had a kicker in week 2,
They'd be
they'd
3-1.
be 3-1. The Malik Neighbors, all this stuff. So if there's only 2, let's
They're
just throw,
not
let's
that
just
good,
throw
though.
ties.
You know that
hold
as
on.
well as
just,
I do.
just wait. Just hold on.
No, no,
Just
sneaky.
hear me out, please. 2 possible outcomes throughout ties. A Giants win, in which case they're now a sneaky good team.
Yeah.
Other outcome, a Cowboys win, they're a tomato can, and it means nothing.
Yeah.
So this is
Big game for
This
the Giants.
this isn't a must win. This is a can't win for Dallas.
It is.
This is at least in the eyes of Brew.
You
it's a
need the
can't
win. You need the
But
W.
it will mean
outside-
nothing to you.
Will it mean something to you?
So here's what but I am not as down on the Cowboys as you are. What I will say is this. If this game is in the balance, or God forbid the Cowboys lose, it will signal they're, in my opinion, for the year broken.
Yes.
Just like when you own a team like, sorry, Wilds, the Patriots owned the Jets.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
knew the Belichick era was over, probably before, but definitively
nail in the
when
coffin moment.
when the Jets finally beat them. And so they have to win. I just thought, my hunch was they were not going to have any outcome that would impress you.
It
And
won't.
Yeah, I know.
It won't.
Yeah, it seems a little unfair.
No,
a
it's
little
not.
bit.